You feel that sting, that hot flash of anger or hurt when someone lets you down. Your first instinct is to react, to defend, to explain, to fight back. What if I told you that this very instinct is a trap? It's a script you've been handed that keeps you stuck in a painful, endless loop. 99% of people will live and die by this reactive script, never discovering the profound power that lies in a different response. The real power isn't in the confrontation. It's in the quiet click of a door you close forever. The reaction trap. Let's begin by understanding the prison. The reaction trap is a deeply ingrained biological and social program. When we perceive a social slight, a betrayal, a criticism, an act of disrespect, our ancient survival brain, the amygdala, lights up. It doesn't distinguish between a saber-toothed tiger and a passive-aggressive comment from a colleague. To the amygdala, it's all a threat. It floods our system with cortisol and adrenaline, preparing us for a fight or for flight. This is the physiological root of that hot, reactive feeling. Our heart pounds, our thoughts race, and we feel an overwhelming urge to do something, to push back, to reestablish our status and safety. On top of this biological programming, we have a social one. We've been taught through movies, through culture, through our own family dynamics, that relationships are things to be worked on. We're told that communication is key, that we need to talk it out, that we need to explain our feelings, make the other person understand the pain they've caused. We believe that if we can just find the right words, the right argument, we can force them to see the error of their ways, to apologize, to change. And so we engage. We write the long, soul-bearing text. We make the tearful phone call. We have the dramatic confrontation. We are, in essence, entering a courtroom where we are the prosecutor, the victim, and the witness, and the other person is the defendant. But here is the brutal and liberating truth. This courtroom is a sham. The person you are trying to convince is not an impartial judge. They are the perpetrator. They have their own story, their own justifications, their own internal reality in which their actions were completely valid. Your heartfelt testimony, your logical arguments, your tears, they are not evidence to them. They are an attack, and their natural response will be to defend, to deny, to deflect, and often to counterattack. You are not heading towards a resolution. You are simply entering a new, more intense, and more painful round of the same toxic game. You are handing them the script for the next scene of the drama, and you are volunteering to be the star victim. This is the trap. The belief that your reaction can change another person's fundamental character is the lock on the prison door. The power of data. The first step to escaping this trap is to make a profound and radical shift in your perspective. You must learn to stop seeing people's actions as personal attacks and start seeing them as impersonal data points. This is not about becoming a cold, unfeeling robot. It is about becoming a wise and discerning scientist in the laboratory of your own life. When someone shows you who they are, when they betray your trust, when they consistently disrespect your boundaries, when they are casually cruel, they are not attacking you. They are giving you a piece of data about their character, their values, and their capacity to be a healthy presence in your life. Your job is not to react to the data. Your job is not to argue with the data. Your job is simply to collect it, to observe it, and to believe it. We spend so much of our energy trying to find the why behind people's hurtful behavior. We think, maybe they're just having a bad day, or maybe they didn't mean it that way, or if I could just understand their childhood trauma, I could fix this. This is a beautiful, compassionate impulse, but in the context of protecting your own peace, it is a dangerous and self-destructive one. You are not their therapist. You are not their savior. You are the curator of your own life, and their why is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the what. What did they do? What is the pattern of their behavior? This is a practice of radical acceptance. It is the acceptance that you cannot change another person. You cannot love them into being a better person. You cannot argue them into respecting you. People do not change because you want them to. They change, if at all, because they want to, on their own timeline, for their own reasons. Your only power, your only true agency, is in deciding what you will do with the data they have given you. So, the new internal script is this. The first time someone shows you a red flag, a piece of data that is incongruent with your own values of respect, kindness, and integrity, you do not react. You observe. You make a mental note. You see it as a data point. The second time they show you the same red flag, you do not give them the benefit of the doubt. You recognize a pattern. And the third time, you do not get angry. You do not get hurt. You simply accept the data as a conclusive research finding. This person, for whatever reason, is not capable of being the kind of person you want in your life. The research is complete. The experiment is over. And now you have a decision to make. Not about them, but about you. The silent cutoff. This brings us to the core of this life-altering lesson. The most powerful, most self-respecting, and most peaceful response to a person who has proven, through a pattern of behavior, to be a toxic or unhealthy presence in your life is not a confrontation. It is the silent cutoff. This is not ghosting, which is a cowardly act of avoidance. Ghosting is what you do when you are afraid of the other person's reaction. The silent cutoff is what you do when you are no longer interested in their reaction at all. It is a quiet, deliberate, and final act of self-preservation. What does it look like? It is the act of becoming a black hole of communication for that person. Their texts go unread, their calls go unanswered, their emails go to spam. You do not block them in a dramatic flourish. You simply go silent. You do not announce your departure. You do not write a long letter explaining your decision. You do not have one last dramatic conversation to get closure. Why? Because all of those actions are still a form of engagement. They are still an invitation to the courtroom. A final letter is just you making your closing argument to a judge who has already decided. A final conversation is just an opportunity for them to manipulate, to gaslight, to make promises they will not keep. It is one last hit of the toxic drug. The silent cutoff is a statement of profound and radical indifference. It communicates on a level far deeper than words. Your opinion of my decision is no longer relevant to me. Your feelings about this are no longer my responsibility. I am not seeking your understanding or your approval. I have made a decision for my own well-being, and the debate is over. This is not an act of anger. It is an act of peace. It is the ultimate act of de-escalation. You are refusing to add any more energy to a dynamic that has already proven to be destructive. You are not just leaving the courtroom. You are burning the courthouse to the ground. This will feel deeply uncomfortable at first because it goes against all of our social programming. Your brain will scream for the drama, for the closure, for the final word, but this is the practice. It is the act of choosing the quiet, sometimes lonely, path of your own peace over the noisy, familiar, and painful path of engagement. It is the ultimate boundary. It is a non-verbal declaration that the price of admission to your life is respect and kindness, and this person is no longer able to pay. There is no announcement. The show is simply over. The energy equation. To understand why the silent cutoff is so powerful, you have to understand the energy equation of human interaction. Every relationship in your life is an energetic exchange. Healthy relationships are a source of surplus energy. You leave an interaction feeling lighter, more inspired, more seen. Toxic relationships are a source of energetic deficit. They are a drain. The person, often a narcissist or an energy vampire, is literally feeding off of your reaction. Your anger is a source of fuel for them. Your tears are a source of fuel. Your pleading, your explaining, your frustration, it is all a delicious meal for their ego. It proves to them that they have power over you, that they can affect your emotional state. Your reaction is the entire point of the game for them. When you react, you are plugging yourself into their toxic energy grid. You are willingly giving them your life force. The dramatic confrontation, the long explanatory text, these are not just emotionally draining for you, they are profoundly nourishing for them. You are giving them exactly what they want, your attention, your energy, your focus. You are proving that they still matter, that they still have a hold on you. The silent cutoff is the act of unplugging from their grid. Completely. You are cutting off their food supply. And for a person who thrives on the energy of others, this is a profound and deeply unsettling experience. At first, they may escalate. They may call more, text more, try to create more drama to get a reaction, any reaction. This is the moment where your resolve will be tested. But if you hold the frame of silence, if you remain the black hole, they will eventually give up. An energy vampire cannot survive in a vacuum. They will be forced to go elsewhere to find their next source of fuel. This is not about punishing them. It is about a fundamental understanding of energetic hygiene. You would not knowingly allow someone with a contagious disease to cough in your face. You would not knowingly drink a glass of poison. And yet, we willingly engage in conversations that are profoundly toxic to our emotional and spiritual health. The silent cutoff is the ultimate act of energetic hygiene. It is the recognition that your inner peace, your life force, is the most precious resource you have, and you will no longer allow it to be siphoned away by those who do not have your best interests at heart. You are not just closing a door, you are reclaiming your own power. The work of healing, here is the part that most people miss. The silent cutoff is not the end of the story. It is the beginning. It is not the solution itself. It is the creation of the sacred space in which the real solution can be found. You have not just cut them off, you have cut off a part of your life, a pattern, a set of beliefs that allowed that person to have a place in your world in the first place. The silence is not an empty waiting room. It is a workshop. It is a laboratory. It is the space where you must now do the deep and sometimes difficult work of healing yourself. The first part of this work is to grieve. You have lost something, a friendship, a relationship, an idea of who you thought someone was. Even if it was a toxic situation, it is still a loss. Allow yourself to feel the sadness, the anger, the disappointment, but you do this work on your own, or with a trusted therapist or a true friend. You do not do it with the person who was the source of the wound. You are tending to your own garden, not asking the person who planted the weeds to help you pull them. The second part of this work is a radical self-inventory. You must ask yourself the hard questions. What was it in me that was attracted to this dynamic? Was it a need to be a rescuer? Was it a fear of being alone? Was it a repetition of a childhood pattern? What were the red flags that I ignored? Where did I fail to enforce my own boundaries? This is not about self-blame. It is about self-awareness. It is about finding the crack in your own foundation that allowed the poison to seep in. This is the work that ensures you will not simply repeat the same pattern with a different person in the future. You are not just getting over a person, you are upgrading your entire operating system. The third part of this work is the act of joyful rebuilding. You now have a vast surplus of time and energy that was once being consumed by the toxic dynamic. This is your reclaimed treasure. You must invest it wisely. This is the time to pour that energy back into yourself. Reconnect with old friends who are a source of positive energy. Dive into a new hobby or a passion project. Focus on your health, your career, your spiritual growth. You are actively filling the space that was once occupied by the drama with things that are life-affirming, that are joyful, that are a true reflection of the person you want to become. You are not just surviving the silence, you are making the silence the most creative and generative period of your life. This is how you ensure that when you emerge, you are not the same person who entered the silence. You are stronger, wiser, and more whole. The new reality. When you commit to this path, when you learn to see behavior as data, when you master the silent cutoff, when you do the deep work of healing and rebuilding in the sacred space you have created, something profound happens. You are not just changing a relationship, you are changing your entire reality. You are fundamentally altering the kind of people and experiences you attract into your life. Your energy signature changes. You are no longer broadcasting the frequency of neediness, of tolerance for disrespect, of a willingness to engage in drama. You are now broadcasting a frequency of quiet confidence, of self-respect, of profound peace. And like a tuning fork, you will begin to attract people and situations that resonate with that new frequency. High-quality, respectful, and emotionally mature people will be drawn to your calm, centered energy. They will recognize you as a fellow traveler on the path of conscious living. Your filter for AI becomes incredibly refined. The red flags that you once ignored or made excuses for will now appear as bright as flashing neon signs. You will spot the subtle manipulations, the passive-aggressive comments, the energy-draining patterns from a mile away, and you will feel no compulsion to engage. You will simply, quietly, and without drama, choose to walk in the other direction. Your life becomes a curated gallery of high-quality connections, because you have become the unapologetic and discerning curator. This is the ultimate life lesson. It is the discovery that you have absolute sovereignty over your own inner and outer world. You are not a victim of other people's behavior. You are the architect of your own experience. The power to create a life of peace, of joy, of deep and meaningful connection does not lie in changing other people. It lies in your own courageous willingness to change yourself, to heal your own wounds, and to build boundaries of steel around the sacred temple of your own being. The silence is not an absence, It is a presence. It is the presence of your own reclaimed power, your own hard won peace, and your own beautiful, unfolding, and unapologetic life.